See this little shine bug here? That is the key to unlimited free energy. Yes, that is based on my last video right here, shine bugs equal unlimited free energy. Essentially what we're going to be doing here is ranching these little shine bugs and then putting them on top of a solar panel, because a solar panel absorbs illumination from something like a shine bug and turns it into power. So the key here is that we want to ranch up like 100 of these things so that we can really get a decent amount of power out of our solar panels right here. Now we're using a lot of the exact same concepts that we're using for this Pacu fish right here, but essentially the main things I need to get up and running first is going to be glass. That way I can actually build the necessary solar panels, because that requires 200 kilograms of glass. So step one, glass. All right, so for glass production, we have a little glass forge down here. It doesn't put off a ton of heat. 16,000 DTUs, not a big deal. Although it does use a decent amount of power, 1.2 kilowatts. Okay, so one of the other things I need to get over here to this water so that I can start pumping that into my oxygen system. Because what I've done recently is I've kind of cleared out all of the extra water I had right here, and I've cleared out all the extra water I had over here. So I need to connect this steam geyser right here to the inlet over there so that I can produce more oxygen. And like I mentioned last time, I'm going to be turning on this natural gas generator so that I can produce a little bit more power inside my base and use up, some of this massive amount of natural gas I have right here. Okay, so when I go to run a glass forge here, one of the things I need to be aware of is that it will output molten glass, which is fairly hot. I wouldn't say it's really that hard to tame. You could usually just do it in a decent sized puddle of water. Like this right here, I could just dump it right here if I really wanted to. Not only that, since I have all of these ice makers right there, that would handle it. That's one way of doing it. But that uses energy in order to tame the glass. Could we possibly hook the glass up in such a way that it runs to a steam turbine so that it can recirculate? The thing is, even then, I'm still left with glass that's like 100 degrees. What to do with the glass? Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I just want to put the glass unit right here, and drip it into this nice cool pool of water, and then scoop it up and store it right up top. That seems fairly straightforward. I mean, then not everything's all spread out. The thing I was talking about putting it down here, I mean, while it is in a nice cold biome, it's still a long run. It's a lot like running the oil refinery. Not that it isn't worth doing, but I don't know. I like having all the inventory stuff right here. Okay, so it's settled. I'm gonna build it right down here in this area. All the Drecos have escaped. Took them 2 seconds. There you go. All right, enjoy your freedom. All right, so if I put my glass forge right there, no, that's not what I want to do. What I want to do is to copy this same arrangement I have here with all the automation once again. And then I can put the glass forge, I think I might want to space it out just a little bit, because what I'll want to have is a little bit of an auto sweeper right here and a receptacle for that auto sweeper right beneath it. So the idea is that it goes from there to there. Now I found once I spaced this out a little bit further, so the center was, 3 away like that, 1, 2 is on the third, then it worked correctly. So that is a little bit too tight, so I want to move that to the left. So that puts the glass forge right there. Now when that goes to kick out its molten glass, it is going to travel right down here. This is using insulated ceramic, and I'm definitely going to replace these tiles here with insulated as well. And then what I want to do is to get this down into this really nice cold water down here. And I may even go ahead and just use an automatic dispenser right here and set it up on the exact same automation that I have for this one down below. So all of those tiles are going to be insulated. That'll just kind of keep that heat in the pipe for a little bit longer. How we doing over here, dupes? We're doing okay. See, the natural gas generator is running. It's doing its thing. Although right now it is just running continuous. So what I actually need to do is hook that up to an automation. So in case you're wondering, that's why I do the smart battery. I do the smart battery right here and then the power transformer next to it. That way I can detect it. You guys were talking about actually using automation wires that it's wireless. I don't know if I trust mods quite that much, but that would be one way to kind of get away from this. So then I'll take this automation just like that, Problem solved. Whew. A lot of construction going on right here. So I've got the glass forge up there. We're going to get rid of that. Just move it over there. I'm bringing in power from up top. So this is going to use... Where is that heavy watt joint? There it is. I guess I'll put it right there. Never mind, let me fill that back in. And everything down here is going to get the beautiful heavy watt wire. So that's where the door is here, just to kind of stop some of the bad decor that's just going to be inside here. Although this is just terrible decor anyhow. In part, we can make it a little bit better with some nice tiles, if we wanted to. Let's see if that made much of a difference. Well, yeah, a little bit right there. Not bad. Nice little change. Not enough to make enough change over here, but dupes, why'd you make a bunch of ladders right here? That's weird. Yo, you should be making doors. There you go. Much better. These crazy dupes. What are they doing? Let's make sure to analyze that cool steam vent over there. That one probably won't need a lot of cooling or anything for a good long time. I mean, it's surrounded by a lot of mass right there, and that mass is, you know, still 50 degrees Celsius, so it's less than that. So we're not going to have any issue with this steam turning or condensing into water for a long time. However, like a cooling loop jacket, fueled by maybe some ice or something like that, that would be a great way to kind of condense this steam if it was in a hotter environment. Right now it's not in a hot environment, so I'm not going to worry about it. And it's kind of isolated too. Look, we got abyssalite right there and there, so if I really wanted to trap this heat, I could just build some insulated tiles right there and, you know, put a vacuum door in between the two and voila, it'd pretty much it'd last a good long time. All right, how you doing, dupes? You got this glass up and running yet? No. Who's starving? Miss Crimson, dude, go get some food, man. And what are you guys doing with all of this normal ladder over here? You know better. Let's upgrade that to plastic. Bubbles? Bubbles, what have you done? Where did all this come from? Man, making a mess. Bubbles? Bubbles, you didn't clean up your mess. No. Come on over here and mop this up. There you go. Good job. Yeah, you missed a little bit. All right, let's keep an eye on just how much plastic I have, because I'm going to go through and I'm going to replace a lot of these ladders with plastic. Boom. Just like that. The high traffic areas. So right here, this is a big one. Huh! Huh! Oh, no! I'm going to need more plastic. Luckily, we have a full charge of petroleum down here just waiting to go. Dupes, did you get the glass thing done yet? Come on, dupes, work faster. All right, so now I should see the automation. Yes, it definitely flipped over, which means we're going to draw the power out of this very quickly because we're running all of this plastic. That actually was built surprisingly quick, so. And there goes more plastic, just like that. I love it. Beautiful. Now, if only you guys would finish the glass forge. Come on. Hey, dupes. Okay, so it's time to add the liquid vent for the glass to flow out of. So that'll be right down here. And as we can see, I've kind of dug this out and it made this a little bit deeper. And what I'm going to go ahead and do down here is just use an auto sweeper. So this auto sweeper will pick up the glass and it will ship it back out. Now I should probably add a little bit of automation to this. Just if I wanted to, I could put a little bit of a weight plate down here. And then once we go over a certain threshold, or maybe once we activate it, there's a certain timer that runs, like a buffer gate or something like that. And then we activate the sweeper. That way it gives it some time to actually cool down. So I think if I were to use that weight plate and then a filter, that's what we want right there. Of course, that means this automatic dispenser is in the one spot where it could actually drop onto that weight plate. So what I'm going to do is just shift it over here to the left. That way I can still use this for ice if I want it. So there we go. The pipe will just go down there like that. We can see the plastic production is just continuing to run down here, load up and ship off. And now that I have a little, you know, an extra source of power over here, I'm able to just keep that stuff running all the time. So that's good. All right, just a little bit more automation just to connect that to that. And I should be good to go. All right, so let's go ahead and try to run just a little bit of glass. So that'll be just one piece of glass right there. It's currently disabled by, okay, so it's currently disabled by automation. So I've just set it to something random here. That should at least enable it. All right, so the glass forge is ready to run. Let's see what happens here. Just gonna make a little bit of molten glass. Looks like Stinky's going to take care of that. Well, he at least supplied it. Here we go. Fane's gonna run it. So there we have it, molten glass, and that is flowing through there. Look at that, 1,700 degrees, woo! And it's just running through the pipe. Hopefully it doesn't get too cold by the time it ends up down here. And there we have it, some molten glass. Well, glass now, it's no longer molten. So we'll say above 1 kilogram right there. We'll set this to be 20 seconds. Let's see just how fast the temperature, oh yeah, that temperature runs away pretty quick, but it's going to take more than 20 seconds. Ooh, I'd say 120 or so. There we go. All right, I'll set it to the maximum, which is 200 seconds right there. Try to get that temperature down as low as possible. And then we will sweep it up to glass. And that will ship right back up here. I could set this to manufactured materials, such as glass. And then more glass right there. We'll set the max safety stock to be, oh, I don't know, probably 1,000 is just fine for glass. We really I don't need that much on hand. So 1,200 and then 200 for the safety stock. So it just doesn't take that much. And we'll set this to be forever. All right, there we go. Auto ran it a little bit more. So we could take a look at the temperatures inside here. Yeah, it's kind of hot. I might want to actually do a cooling loop for this whole area. Just to kind of keep the temperatures down in here. It's getting kind of toasty. Of course, then again, I could probably put a little flower pot right there and might be able to stick a wheezewort in there. I've been picking a few of those up from the printing pot every time I see them, so. And there we go, more molten glass on its way down here. So here it is, it's flowing in. And then I think one thing I'll need to do is actually deconstruct the ladder so that the dupes don't come down here and manually sweep it up, because I think that's what I'm about to see. Yes, Bubbles came down here and decided to sweep up the glass all on her own rather than let it sit here and actually cool down. Okay, so there we go. Now it's just going to sit there. This thing's just going to count up. It's going to take a little while, but we keep adding more and more glass to it. But it looks like the overall cooling of that glass, that's going to work out. Now I think I'm going to have to make this whole thing a little bit smarter, right? Like this tank here will need to maintain a cool temperature, so I'll need ice. You know, I have ice here, but I'll need it to drop in. Which means I might want to give it the exact same sort of arrangement that I have down here where I detect, you know, okay, we got a weight plate and we also have a temperature thing. So let me go ahead and make those modifications real quick. Let me go ahead and throw a couple wheezeworts in here just to keep this area cool. I think otherwise it's going to get too hot in here. This glass forge and the liquid pipe behind it, that could be real, this could get real toasty real quick. Not to mention we're storing stuff and it's still 175 degrees Celsius. Now it's not really hooked up to the automation just yet. I think we just picked it up right there. But if I say sweep only, then hopefully the dupes won't do that. Yeah, some things over here are actually quite hot. Matter of fact, I think that automation wire is actually getting quite hot there. I think I noticed that getting up to about 80 degrees Celsius every once in a while. But let's see what happens here. This is counting up. The glass is it's building up down here. See, that's the thing. It's going to overrun if I have this filter gate on. I guess I won't be at the end of the world. All right, so here we go. Let's see this test. Let's see this thing run. So there we go. Here comes the molten glass. That's going to flow down there. This crimson's just going to keep running it, making more and more glass. He's starting to get a little bit hot in there. Then that runs right down here. So that starts the timer. You can see that the glass is about 400 degrees Celsius at the beginning, maybe a little bit hotter. I added more to it, but the temperature keeps going down. And then here comes some more. But yeah, the temperature keeps going down. It's just kind of slowing down each time that happens. So the real question is, when we're running this as fast as we can, which is what we're doing right now, how cold is that glass going to get before 200 seconds is up? Okay, it built up 150 kilograms. It's at 120 degrees Celsius. So now we're getting below 120. So this is actually lower than what we would have if we were trying to cool it down up here in the steam. Although, I might like to get that energy back. But this might just be a good application. I don't see myself running a lot of glass. I see myself running glass every once in a while, but it's not like it's a refined metal, which I use all over the place for all types of equipment. Okay, so the last bit of glass is about to flow in. We're up to 170 kilograms. 175, add 100 degrees Celsius. Oh, but it just moved over here because the auto sweeper was disabled. Okay, but now, oh, it doesn't stay enabled long enough. Crap. So I need to run a buffer gate on the backside of that in order for it to stay active long enough to sweep up. So that means I have to deconstruct all of that. Okay, so it's a new day, and we're running this filter gate again, so we can see that the glass is cooling down. We will probably run a little bit too much glass. Yeah, that looks like it. The Weezeworts in here, they're making a difference. It's 40 degrees Celsius, but that's not uncommon in this area. It looks like something gets hot back there if you run it long enough. Like this automation wire seems to get hot. I don't know why, but I'm going to try to put a little bit of a temperature shift plate there just to see what happens. See if I can try to keep that automation wire cooler. See how there's just that little puff of like really hot heat that kind of flows out of there? Hopefully that'll try to neutralize it a little bit. Yeah, and see that's where the scalding comes from. It's not that like the environment is super hot, it's just that when you run that machine, for some odd reason there's like that puff of hot. Now, it isn't right where it's close to where the pipe is, but I don't think it's coming from the pipe. That pipe is still relatively cool. Let's see if I see it now that I have this temperature shift plate there. I didn't see it that time. All right, so we're coming up on 200 seconds, and we swept up quite a bit of glass there, but it is still quite hot, actually. Yeah, look at that. Toasty. There is another trick that I can use to kind of try to cool that glass down. And that is if I make a little conveyor loop down here. Of course, now my dupes can't reach down there. Here's what I do. I use a pneumatic door. Ah, darn it. That doesn't work. All right, so if I do this little conveyor loop thing down here, that will spread out the amount of glass I have, right? Instead of having one big chunk, which has a lot of mass and takes a long time to cool down, what I break it into is 10 kilograms. So that should actually drastically change the temperature quite a bit faster. Which means I might be able to set this timer to be a fair bit, shorter. Let's try 30 seconds instead of 200. I'm gonna set my poor dupes. All right, come over here and recover. 4 of you got slightly roasted while making molten glass. I like how they all gave each other thumbs up before they decided to. Slackers, you're getting a day off. Get back to work. Good job, Burke. Way to be a team player. Boom, right over there to make the conveyor rail. This guy believes in the project. Yo, dupes, are you gonna make this conveyor rail today? Anybody? What are y'all standing around for? Get back to work. I got some conveyor rails right there. Just go ahead and build those. Bunch of slackers. Here's another piece of ladder. You get a complete ladder all the way down. There we go. Thank you, Bubbles, for finally showing up. All right, so now when these things go to ship, let's see what happens here. Ooh, 78 degrees. You can see the temperature dropping. Nice. That's what I wanted to see. Perfect. Yeah, when you spread it out, that makes a big difference. Okay, well, I connected this steam vent over here into the oxygen system. So that'll be good. This thing will stay running, and it looks like it's maintaining a temperature for right around 20 degrees Celsius. So that's pretty good. I saw 25 earlier. It's reading right around 22 or so. Real nice. All right, well, I built up all the glass that I was expecting, so let's go ahead and just turn it up a little bit more. I want to see it run one last time to make sure it's going to work correctly. Okay, never mind. You just had a bunch of glass. All right, so there we go. Crap, my dupes are still getting crispy over here. Okay, so it's less frequent now that I put the temperature shift plate in it, so that's good. Let's take a look at the shipping here, or the automation. Crap, my dupes are sweeping it up. Stop sweeping it up, dupes! Ah! All right, so there we go. Some over there got swept up. Yeah, that buffer needs to be longer. All right, so I think the final arrangement here is setting this down to 200 seconds and then using the conveyor loader right there with that crazy little shipping radiator, which is what I might as well just call it right there. A little bit of a shipping, what? Don't know how you ended up down there, whatever. Anyhow, let's take a look at the temperatures of this to see what kind of temperatures we're getting on the way out. And now I have way more glass than I ever thought I was going to have on hand, so I guess it's kind of a stress test. So it seems like under full operation, I'll end up with about 200 kilograms down there each time I go to run this. It ships out at, well, about 120 degrees Celsius or so, so right about that steam temperature. And then it goes through this little radiator right here, and dropped down to 90 and 86. So not too bad. We got rid of a lot of the heat, especially when you consider that it came out at like 1,700. And then since I'm not going to run this every single cycle like I have been right now, unless of course I'm just making a ton of glass for something. You know, these Wheezeworts here should kind of cool down this environment, so hopefully the dupes don't get fried when they run this machine. It really hasn't happened to anybody, you know, ever since I put that. It's really only happened to Biker Puppy like once since I've put that temperature shift plate back there. Maybe it just runs a little bit slower or something like that. Alright, so we should see that this will disable the next time we go to run it. There we go. So now I won't make any more glass. So I will overproduce a little bit, especially when you kind of consider this whole arrangement, but I don't think that's a big deal. Most important thing here is that I now can build solar panels, which means I now have the key piece of equipment I need to make my shine bug reactor and tap into that sweet, unlimited free energy. So I think I'll probably do some sort of ranch. Ooh, where to do it? I kind of already have ranching over here, which means I might want to put, but I feel like then I'm building everything over here. But then again, it is power, so kind of makes sense to keep building stuff on this side of the map. This left side of the map's getting lonely though. I'm not doing anything over here. But then again, once I go to run this thing, well, there might be like a giant machine that just takes up this whole space. We shall see, and that'll have to happen here in the next episode. Hope you guys have enjoyed this episode here of Oxygen Not Included. If this looks like the channel for you, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. As always, stay awesome, guys. Peace. Brothgar out.